Everything falls apart in a matter of moments. Hope Logan wakes up on the showroom floor struggling to breathe, overwhelmed by guilt, while another emotional storm is already tearing through the lives of everyone connected to the Forrester and Logan families. This isn't just another misunderstanding, it's a chain reaction of broken trust, family division, and painful choices that no one seems ready to forgive. The biggest story in these B&B recap events is Hope's emotional collapse and the growing fallout surrounding her decision. Nearly every conflict today traces back to that single choice, but whether Hope truly deserves all the blame depends on where you stand. Inside the Logan showroom, Liam arrives and immediately finds Hope unconscious on the runway. The sight shocks him. He rushes to her side, repeatedly calling her name until she slowly regains consciousness. Hope is confused at first, then reality crashes back into her. The first thing she thinks about isn't herself, it's Brooke. She breaks down, convinced she has destroyed her relationship with her mother forever. Brooke left in complete heartbreak, and Hope believes that forgiveness may never come. It's an incredibly emotional response because Hope isn't defending herself, she's grieving what she's lost. After calming down with some water, Hope explains just how devastating Brooke's reaction really was. She says her mother wasn't simply angry, Brooke was in agony. Watching her react that way made Hope feel as though the entire world was collapsing around her until she couldn't even catch her breath before blacking out. Liam immediately focuses on Hope's health. He wants her examined at a hospital. Hope refuses. Instead, she accepts responsibility for her decision, quietly saying she made her choice and now has to live with the consequences. That moment says a lot about where Hope is emotionally. She's not pretending nothing happened. She's carrying the weight of everything. But Liam doesn't agree with how she's judging herself. He sees something very different. From his perspective, Brooke failed Hope just as much as Hope disappointed Brooke. Liam argues that Hope never intended to hurt her mother, she simply made a decision she believed was right for herself. She kept it secret because she expected Brooke would either reject it or try to stop it altogether. That's an important distinction. Liam isn't saying nobody got hurt. He's saying the relationship broke down because neither side could truly support the other's position. His words completely shift the conversation away from simple blame and toward the difficult reality that family love doesn't always mean unconditional agreement. While Hope continues wrestling with guilt, the mood at Forrester Creations couldn't be more different. Their frustration has turned into outright anger. Steffy, Ridge, and RJ are united in believing Hope's actions have thrown everyone into chaos. Steffy is furious that reporters only want statements about the Logan controversy, while the company itself faces an ongoing crisis. Ridge shares her irritation, dismissing the media as they continue chasing the story instead of focusing on anything else happening at Forrester. Their attention keeps returning to the same conclusion. Hope created this mess. That repeated accusation highlights just how isolated Hope has become. Whether viewers agree with Steffy and Ridge or not, it's clear they see every new problem as another consequence of Hope's decision. RJ has another concern weighing on him. His attention turns toward Electra. He's still upset about everything surrounding the hope for the future diamond, and he can't understand why Will allowed Electra to be blindsided in front of the Forresters. To RJ, this wasn't simply about keeping a secret. It was about respect. Electra deserved honesty before learning the truth during a live stream. Feeling protective, RJ decides to go check on her himself. Interestingly, even Steffy admits she feels bad for Electra. She doesn't understand why Will couldn't at least prepare her for what was coming. That small moment matters because it separates Electra from the larger corporate battle. No matter which family viewers support, Electra is caught in the middle of a conflict she didn't create. Meanwhile, the emotional confrontation everyone knew was coming finally unfolds at the beach house. Electra is ready to leave. Will desperately wants her to stay. He tells her they love each other and begs her not to let this destroy their relationship. His biggest defense is that he was sworn to secrecy. From Will's point of view, he wasn't choosing deception over Electra. He believed protecting confidential information about his mother's company left him with no alternative. But Electra isn't arguing about company policy. She's talking about trust. She tells Will he acted without thinking about how it would affect her personally. For her, being left in the dark hurt just as much as the secret itself. The emotional gap between them becomes painfully obvious. They're discussing the same situation, but they're talking about completely different wounds. Will focuses on obligation. Electra focuses on honesty. They still love each other. They even kiss. That makes the conversation even more heartbreaking because love isn't solving the problem standing between them. Electra explains that discovering Logan's jewelry during a live stream, surrounded by the Forresters, left her humiliated. She believes everyone must have thought she looked foolish. That embarrassment cuts deeply because it wasn't private. It happened publicly. Will still struggles to understand why Electra's own jewelry line has become collateral damage. To him, the situations don't even seem connected. But Electra sees everything differently. The scandal has become so overwhelming that nobody is talking about her work anymore. Instead, they're talking about secrets. And in her eyes, Will helped create that situation. That's why she says she can't stay. Not because she stopped loving him. Because she no longer feels she can trust him. That emotional difference changes everything. As the day moves toward its final confrontations, every relationship feels as though it's balancing on the edge. Back at the Logan showroom, Liam refuses to let Hope drown in self-blame. He encourages her to stop seeing herself as the only person responsible. According to Liam, Brooke's reaction crossed a line. Instead of celebrating Hope's success, Brooke punished her for making an independent choice. Liam hopes mother and daughter eventually repair their relationship. But until that happens, he doesn't want Hope losing confidence in herself. His message is simple. Don't let this experience define who you are. Don't let someone else's disappointment erase your own worth. It's one of the most supportive moments Liam has shared with Hope, and it offers a rare emotional pause during an episode filled with conflict. Whether viewers agree with Liam's perspective or not, his role here is clear. He's trying to steady Hope when she's emotionally at her lowest. Meanwhile, concern begins spreading back at Forrester. Steffy wonders whether RJ should have been stopped before confronting Will. Ridge doesn't seem surprised at all. He knows RJ well enough to realize nothing would have kept him away from Electra once he believed she needed help. That brief exchange quietly builds anticipation for what is already happening at the beach house. And it doesn't disappoint. RJ storms in ready for a fight. The second he sees Will trying to stop Electra from leaving, he orders him to let her go. RJ has already decided exactly who is at fault. He accuses Will of blindsiding Electra and keeping her in the dark. Will answers with emotion instead of anger. He calls Electra his angel. But RJ isn't interested in hearing any explanation. Instead, he says Will proved everything he already believed about him. The confrontation quickly becomes personal. RJ claims Will doesn't truly love Electra. He argues that Will only loves himself. Then he goes even further by comparing Will's selfishness and arrogance to his father. That accusation changes the atmosphere immediately. This is no longer just an argument over secrets. It's become an attack on Will's character. And Will responds physically. He punches RJ hard enough to send him crashing to the floor. RJ strikes his head against the counter on the way down. The violence doesn't stop there. Will continues hitting him until Electra finally steps in and forces an end to it. It's one of the most explosive moments in this The Bold and the Beautiful recap, not simply because of the fight itself, but because of what it represents. The argument began over honesty. Now it's escalated into violence. Electra is horrified. She points out that the Forresters were already attacked emotionally earlier in the day, and now Will has added physical violence to an already impossible situation. For her, the pattern has become unbearable. Too many secrets, too much conflict, too much pain. She makes her decision. She's taking RJ home. Even then, she tells Will she still loves him. That line is important because her choice isn't driven by a lack of love. It's driven by the environment surrounding their relationship. Love alone isn't enough to overcome everything that has happened. Will refuses to accept what he's hearing. As Electra helps the injured RJ leave, he desperately asks whether she's leaving him for RJ. The question reveals just how frightened he has become of losing her. But Electra's answer isn't another argument. It's an action. She removes the necklace and throws it back at him. Without needing a long speech, that gesture says everything. The trust she once placed in the relationship has been shattered. Once the door closes behind them, Will is left completely alone. His emotions explode. He overturns a piece of furniture and screams into the darkness. It's a raw ending for someone who believed he was protecting important secrets, but ultimately watched those choices cost him the person he loves. Across today's story, nearly every major conflict comes back to one theme: trust. Hope believes she's lost Brooke's trust. Brooke's reaction leaves Hope questioning herself. Steffy and Ridge blame Hope for the turmoil surrounding Forrester. Electra believes Will failed her by keeping life-changing information from her. RJ loses control because he believes Electra deserves better. And Will discovers that even actions taken for reasons he believed were justified can still leave lasting emotional damage. No easy answers are offered. No conflicts are neatly resolved. Instead, today's episode leaves every major relationship carrying new emotional scars. The biggest question now isn't simply who was right or wrong. It's whether these broken bonds can still be repaired after so much blame, disappointment, and shattered confidence. Do you think Hope deserves the criticism she's receiving, or has everyone around her gone too far? And after everything that happened, can Will and Electra ever rebuild the trust they lost? If you enjoy daily B&B spoilers, the bold and the beautiful recaps, and in-depth updates like this, be sure to subscribe and join the conversation in the comments.